Opening the game is one of the most ambitious intro scenes to any NES game. However, Friday the 13th, for the time that it came out, was kind of a taboo entry into the NES library because most of these games were targeted to kids, so it was kind of unusual to see an R-rated movie adapted to an NES game. Nowadays, it's not uncommon to find adult subject matter in video games, but back before the ERSB rating system, it wasn't common to find R-rated material adapted to an NES game, especially when the target audience was most of the time children. Even though the violence, the gore is heavily toned down in this game, it's still heavily implied, and a lot of kids I knew growing up did see these movies. Straight Edge Game Room is a family show, and I like to keep it as family friendly as I possibly can, so I'm going to be a little delicate talking about this game's themes. With that being said, I am not encouraging anyone under the age of 18 to go see R-rated movies. If your mom or your dad tell you not to see a certain movie, do what they say. Don't watch that movie. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into the game. You have your choice from 6 camp counselors to play as, 3 men, 3 women. Each of them have their own quirks and their own advantages. No matter who you pick, your standard weapon is a rock that goes over your enemy's head if you're not throwing it from the right distance. Oh sure, you can resolve this problem by crouching down, but why should you have to do that? The rock should just go straight. Later you can upgrade to a knife, which is a lot better than that rock, but how do you get the knife? Well, sometimes you can make the knife, the red potion, the key, and the lighter appear by mindlessly jumping around like a deer with a head parasite. Why do you gotta do that? I don't know, because you're at camp and you gotta be in physical fit condition to fight Jason. Some of these camp counselors can walk really fast, some of them move as slow as Elvis Presley trying to have a bowel movement, and some of them can jump agile, graceful, and free like a fawn frolicking in the meadow. But you do not have ample time for frolicking in nature's majesty, because the Jason alarm keeps going off. And if you don't hurry up and get over there, he's gonna kill somebody. But I bet if it's your mother-in-law, you're gonna take your sweet time. This is the way I think it goes to beat this game. You have to have at least 1 surviving camp counselor. Well, duh, who else is gonna fight Jason? You gotta survive 3 days on Camp Crystal Lake, and the counter counts 15 children that you start off with. At least one of those children has to survive. Throughout the game, you go into different cabins. Some of them have clues on the floor, and they give you instructions on what to do, but you don't really have time to go around this game and explore the different areas because that stupid Jason alarm keeps going off. So now you've been notified that Jason's about to kill somebody. You gotta stop what you're doing, look at the map, see what cabin is blinking, and make your way over there and stop Jason. I know it's really annoying to watch me pause the game so many times to look at the map, but you never know where you're going in this game. On this game, you could be walking one way trying to get to that cabin, then when you look at the map, you've been walking in the opposite direction. It's even worse if the Jason alarm goes off while you're in the woods, because you're never sure where to go in the woods. But why would you know your way in the woods? You're a camp counselor, not a Boy Scout. So if you make it to the cabin where Jason's about to kill somebody, they thank you. Well, I didn't really do anything, but you're welcome. Then you gotta whoop Jason. Beating Jason in a fight is easier said than done, and there are ways that you can sway and dodge his punches, but I really haven't gotten this down, and Jason just about halfway kills me. I forgot to mention at the beginning of the game, it tells you to light all the fireplaces. That's not really essential. You don't have to do that, but I think it helps you find your way through the cave. I don't know how that works, and if I got that wrong, you guys can scold me in the comments. But the pieces of paper, you gotta pick those up and read. The pieces of paper give you clues of places to go explore, and special weapons that you can upgrade to, like the machete and the torch. I believe the strongest weapon in this game is the pitchfork, which is from the second movie. I never found it, but it's not essential to beat the game. I'm so bad at this game, I could not show a whole lot past this game over screen. Wow, thank you. I appreciate your honesty. Given my handicap at this terrible game and a desire to show you more than I was able, I opted to using the Game Genie. But before I show you further footage of that, let's take a look at the cartridge. This is not important to the review, but it's something I like to do, and hey, I'll make the videos however I want. Let's take a look at the cartridge itself. It's got Jason in front of a totally rad and tubular late 80s skater backdrop. So it is kind of strange to find an officially licensed Nintendo game based on something R-rated. Sure, there were other horror-related video games, but Friday the 13th is kind of gory for a Nintendo game. That's the only Friday the 13th movie I got, and it came with 3D shades. Why do I got this Godzilla movie here? Well, in this movie, one of the characters is reading a magazine where it's commemorating the 30th anniversary of Godzilla, and it had a movie poster to Godzilla vs. Megalon. Let's get back to the game. Thank you, Mr. Monge. That certainly was educational. I'm putting in 2 different Game Genie codes. One is invincibility, the other one is infinite children. Infinite children means that if the Jason alarm goes off and it's one of the cabins by the lake, Jason can make an attempt to kill one of those children, but he'll fail, and my counter will still say 15. But if he's after one of the camp counselors, I have to go over there and stop him. And since I'm cheating, I don't have to worry about getting killed by the zombies, Jason, the bird, the wolves, or Jason's mother. However, I can still fall to my death and lose all my items. In the cave, if you come to this spot and push up, you'll find the shrine where Jason keeps his mother's severed head. If you manage to beat her, her sweater will appear, and you put it on by selecting Take. I think you have to get the sweater before you can get the pitchfork, but I never figured out where to make the pitchfork appear, and as I said before, the pitchfork is not essential to beat the game. Since I'm cheating, I have more freedom to explore this game, but let me tell you, the 3 days in this game, they drag on and on. So while the game transitions from day to night, eventually you'll get to the 3rd day and have a few more confrontations with Jason. So after defeating Jason for the last time, you get this image of him sitting on the floor ashamed, like he just fell off of a mechanical bull, and you get some text telling you you beat the game, but you didn't really beat the game. Friday the 13th on the NES is a very confusing, anxiety-inducing, monotonous game that drags on for way too long, and I don't recommend it.